Hey guys, I'm back with another character conversion for Heroes Unlimited. This time we are tackling Wolverine from Marvel Comics X-Men and the Avengers. Wolverine is a mutant who was born with animalistic powers in the late 19th century Alberta, Canada, around 1891, and then eventually enrolled into a top-secret joint project that weaponized metahumans in the mid-20th century. This was partly in exchange for pardon of his criminal record. The project was called the Weapon Project, and he was part of the 10th one named Weapon X. The Weapon Project itself weaponized various types of metahumans. Cap America was one of the first to be a successful experiment. They also had mutant animals, and then people that were imbued with powers, as well as eventually weaponizing mutants themselves, sometimes just changing them, sometimes improving their powers, or just altogether altering their powers. Other characters involved throughout the history of the Weapon Project included Deadpool, Phantom X, Sabretooth, Nuke, Wire, Garrison Kane, Isaiah Bradley, the Stepford Cuckoos, and many more. Now, due to Wolverine's lifespan, his different roles in life, I decided to make him 16th level, kind of, making him one of the deadliest melee fighters out there, which basically tracks with comics, because he is, quote-unquote, the best there is at what he does. Power category wise, I decided to make him a dual class character using the Rifter 37 option for Mega Hero. So in this case, he's not going to get any of the Mega Hero traits such as like supernatural strength, endurance, any of the Mega Hero traits. It's just he's going to have two different classes. Now my goal here isn't to throw and stack every single power in the book that he could have. I know some people like to do that. I'm trying to still keep him at like a bare minimal level as far as like number of powers go. I want to try and keep within like a realm of like 5 to 7 powers versus like 39 powers or something like that. And we're trying to stick to his main abilities. We're not trying to give him like a one-time event or power feat where he like suddenly uses healing factor to counteract the burning of his flesh from the corona of the sun, or the time he instantly regenerated from a drop of blood from the crystal of ultimate vision, because those are like items and artifacts that powered him. We're just sticking to core powers. We're also sticking to common powers. So for some things that have been dropped, for example, I have dropped his Berserker Rage, or basically the Pharaoh power in the game, just because he doesn't really go into a Berserker Rage as much anymore. I think at this point in his career, he's pretty much gotten control over it. So we're going to reflect that. We're not going to have it as an actual power itself. Now for Wolverine's hit points, STC, and his attributes, those have all been rolled, and then we've modified them thanks to his powers and his skills. And to be upfront, I do utilize some optional bonuses that are given to skills. Those are usually found in the various rifters, so just an FYI on why something may seem extremely high. Now ironically, Wolverine is actually stronger on the character sheet that I've got here versus what he is in the Marvel Universe, and that's mainly thanks to superhuman strength, which is the result of his mutant trait, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Wolverine's base powers are his heightened sense of smell and hearing, as well as his vision, which is represented by night vision. Coupling that, we have his healing factor, which also has longevity, and then his natural claws. For Wolverine, we also went with him as a mutant of continuous mutation, so his powers are coming in as he aged, and this relatively fits well with his character itself, developing in comics since he didn't develop his powers until he hit puberty. He has mutant traits of a hairy body, and then we also gave him stocky and exceptionally broad, which gives him a superhuman physical strength, and total that's 27. So like I said before, he is a lot stronger than his Marvel version, which is basically stated he's able to press around 800 to 1,000 pounds, whereas in Heroes Unlimited, he can actually carry 2.7 tons and lift 4.05 tons. So ironically, he's actually stronger in Heroes Unlimited, as far as strength is concerned. Now, he's also an experiment thanks to the Weapon Project, and for that, we gave him chemical resistance as an experimental side effect, and that's further amplified thanks to his healing powers, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. Now, the powers themselves, from it being an experiment, we've given him indestructible bones, thanks to the adamantium that is infused throughout his skeleton, and we've also decided to boost his healing factor, making it super regeneration. And from that, he's going to still keep the bonuses, but he's going to lose the healing part of healing factor, replacing it with the exceptional healing granted by super regeneration. In that same regard, now his claws, I reworked his claws. He has natural claws as a minor power, but thanks to him being an experiment, we decided to make his claws a major power. Now, you're like probably wondering, well, what's the difference between a major power for the claw? We're using major power to reflect the razor sharp nature of his adamantium claws. In the comics, he's basically known to slice through anything, and we're reflecting that in the system itself by giving him the ability to do double damage at full damage. I mean, meaning he doesn't have to roll when he's trying to cut through material. He's going to do automatically full damage. As far as, inorganic material, cutting through walls, cutting through a tank hole, stuff like that. Full damage, completely max, no worry about rolling. And then the claws themselves are also sharp enough to bypass armors and shields. So unless it's magical or psionic or coated in energy, like say a vibroblade, he can basically cut through any armor, ignoring the AR, and anything parrying his claws is going to take full damage, even if it's not targeted intentional. On top of that, the claw damage also gets a bonus of his level, and at 16, that means that's a plus 16 to damage, and that's before you factor in the claw damage and any modifiers for martial arts or physical strength. Now, something to note that is important is, while he does have super regeneration and he can regenerate anything, and he has the power of indestructible bones, the bones are still limited as far as adamantium in the existing bones. So if you can find a way to sever those bones from his body, like say in the comic books, there's a scene, it's all in the future, but there's a scene where Cyclops blows apart his hand, and he can no longer regrow those bones. Well, he can regrow those bones, but those new bones are not going to have adamantium in them. They'll just be regular bones. And so that's the same situation that's going to apply here. If you blow off a body part and the bones are removed, like, he can eventually regenerate those bones, but they're going to be normal bones. So that's a nice little limitation to be aware of. Now, for Wolverine's skills, we went the simplest route. A military specialist, and for his basic his skill programs, we give him basic military special forces, espionage, modern weapon proficiency, and then we gave him a language skill program to flush out some of his multiple known languages. On top of that, these skill programs are all modified thanks to Rifter 25, I believe, where they basically improved some of the given skills of such programs, such as basic military now getting first aid. So that's something to keep aware of, FYI, in case you want to look it up. I want to say it's Rifter 25. I'm pretty sure it's Rifter 25, but they included a lot of optional skill programs for military educations. So it goes beyond basic military, beyond the basic military package and military demolitions, which are in the main hero's book. Utilizing his secondary skills, I fleshed out his languages even more, because God forbid he has so many languages in the comics. And because of his longevity, I also added in skills thanks to the immortal table. That's in powers limited to for immortals for characters of long age. So he gained additional skills from that, just an FYI. In this case, I believe he got 5 secondary skills extra. And despite all these extra skills added, ironically, I still fell short of 2 skills as far as languages are concerned. Out of the skills that were listed and what I could account for, I was still unable to give him Vietnamese and Portuguese with the amount of skills I've got. So, but since he's a character creation conversion versus an actual straight road character, I gave him the extra 2 skills, just an FYI. Mind you, he's not literate in most of these languages. He can speak them, but he can't read them or write them, or at least anything, beyond, like, say, recognizing the sign for a bathroom or food or a bar in his case. With that done, it's just a matter of cleaning up the sheet, adding up the numbers, and then with everything cleaned up, here's my take on Wolverine. Hope you guys enjoy. I have a PDF you can download down at the bottom of the description. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Leave some comments. What do you think you would have done differently? How do you think the conversion went? And please feel free to toss in some other character conversions you think you'd like to see. I will try and see if I can tackle them, and then, we'll see what happens. I already have another character conversion I'm almost finishing up, and that one will be coming in from Street Fighter. So, thank you, stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll check you guys later. Have fun, take care, bye.